What's going on, motivated individuals? I can't wait to talk about this next episode. This is episode 2 of Motivation Review. This YouTube video that we are going to be going over today is by the channel Chispa Motivation. I can't wait to talk about Chispa Motivation. I've been watching that YouTube channel for about 2 years now, has really great content. There's been quite a few videos that I've watched over and over that have been really impactful, inspirational. I've also had the chance to speak with the creator of Chispa Motivation via Instagram recently. He's a cool dude, definitely for sure. And the video that we're going to talk about, I think it's important to talk about heading into 2020, which is only about 4 days away from now, is because a lot of us are going to be setting out goals or setting out resolutions for things. And I know that they're going to be hard along the way, but the message that I want people to understand going into 2020, or one of the many messages, because there's always a new message or there's always an approach you want to take going into the new year, but something that's really important that I connect with, that this video helped me connect with, is the thought that life, or your goals anyway, in life are actually simple. Now, it doesn't mean that reaching your goals are easy, but for the most part, they are simple. You are here in point A and you want to get to point B. And don't listen to what other people have to say when it comes to, oh, I don't know if you can achieve that. It's not that simple. A lot of times you're going to hear in your life, it's not that simple, but that's just not true. A lot of things are simple. You just figure out the path you want to take and you go after it. Now, there's going to be a lot of variables and a lot of distractions and a lot of obstacles that come along the way, but that doesn't mean that your goal isn't simple. All it means is that there's things interacting with your path to get to your goal. But don't let them distract you. They're going to get in the way and there might be some obstacles you have to go through or whatever. That's fine. But the thing that you really want to get into realizing is that if you have this narrow focus of mind, singular determination, singular concentration, it's just that one simple route that you want to take to get to your goal, and you can get there. And that is something that I took out of watching this video here, which came about 2 years ago. I think it came out sometime in March of 2017. So that's closer to 3 years, right? But for me, it was impactful because it made a lot of sense. And it was coming at a time when I would make some of my own goals and things I was trying to pursue. I think I made them harder than they really were, based off the simple fact that I would keep thinking about the different variables and, oh, but what about this? What about that? Those different things can affect your mindset and how you are towards reaching your goals. And the truth is, if you can just focus on that one thing that you're trying to go after, that target, that singular focus, then basically it will be easier. Now, again, challenges, obstacles, they all get in the way, and it's not going to be easy per se, but it can be simple. And let's go into this video. I can't wait to talk about it. So the title is called When Life Hits You, right? And as soon as you go into it, when you watch it, you'll get right into the video because of this introduction, which is great.
How big?
Like the Ram big.
Holy shit, how much?
Okay, how awesome was that introduction? Right away, the title is called When Life Hits You, and it starts off with two people driving and literally a car hits them when they're talking to each other. Now, that was taken from a movie in 2016 called Bleed for This, and it's a true life story, and of course there's a little bit of changes here and there to make this sensationalize the story, but for the most part, this movie stayed pretty close to what the real life situation of the boxer Vinny Pazienza. And he was popular in the late 80s and into the early 90s. And he was able to win a couple titles in the late 80s. And then I think in 1990, all of a sudden he was in a severe car accident causing him to have fractures in multiple vertebrae in the cervical area. So I think it was C4, 5, and 6 that got injured. And what that caused him to do is the doctors all thought he should never box again because that's a very sensitive, fragile area, so much so that they had to put a halo around his head and shoulders to stabilize his neck so that it could heal properly. And everyone around him, his camp, the doctors, they all said, you'll never box again. and he said, "Oh yeah, watch me." And that level of determination and drive is very impressive. And I think that's why this made such a good introduction to this video. So let's keep going. Okay, Chispa Motivation. Oh, by the way, shout out to Chispa Motivation. I love your title. It's clever. If you don't know Spanish or some other languages that have a Latin origin to it, Chispa means spark. So Chispa Motivation, I like the name of your channel.
You've got to be able to take some disappointment in life too. Not always is everything gonna go well. So you just have to roll with the punches when adversity.
All right, two things here. Roll with the punches. I've said that expression before in the past. I'm sure many of you have too, without even really thinking about what it means. Comment and tell me below if you think that you knew what that means exactly, roll with the punches. But that's an expression used in boxing. When someone is going out to punch you, you got to roll with the punches. You roll with the punches, right? You don't just dodge them, but like you kind of roll with them so that even if they make contact, it's little contact. So that's where that expression comes from, roll with the punches. And I've said it quite a few times in my life, not thinking about, oh, this came from when boxers or, when fighters are, it's almost like a form of defense when someone's going to hit you, and that's what you got to do is roll with the punches. And so in life, you're going to get hit sometimes. Again, going back to the title, when life hits you, and you're going to have to roll with those punches, roll with those hits, because it's going to happen. So either you can completely avoid them or know that they're going to happen and just go along with them. And by the way, at first I thought that this gentleman right here in this video clip was like an older version of Vinny Paz. It's not. This is Ted Turner, who's a billionaire who created TNT and CNN. And so he's a media corporation conglomerate. He's created such a big company that's made him a billionaire. So I think it's kind of cool to have him in this video as well. Again, I don't know about, his life, his personal life and his policies and politics, but just as far as somebody who made it, he created a media empire and became a billionaire out of it. So I guess it's valuable to listen to what he has to say. If he's saying, you're going to have adversities and you got to roll with the punches. Yeah. Okay.
It was hard, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course.
And I was facing
my favorite
financial
motivational
difficulties
speaker
in my
of all
own
time,
life.
Les Brown. He's going to be in so many of these compilational videos. I think he's going to go down as the best motivational speaker of all time. There's just so much energy and enthusiasm, inflection in his voice when he speaks, and it really captivates the audience. And so right here, it's taking an audio clip from one of his speeches many years ago when he's talking to the audience about how hard life is. What I also like about it is that echoey sound, because he's on a stage and he's speaking to a large audience. So that's just part of that sound. The audio of this YouTube video that is fantastic to me is it just triggers the mind to think that you're in an audience listening to somebody speaking. So it's a good start.
I was behind on my bills and my dreams, and I'm saying to them, you can live your dream. It was hard,
ladies and gentlemen.
It was very difficult.
This guy's great.
To pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself. I said, God, why is this happening to me?
We've all been there. We've all been there asking a higher power or something outside of our control. Why is this happening to me?
Don't give up on your dream.
If you're always winning, then you don't really understand what it is to win. You got to take those losses. You got to take those hits. There's got to be the valleys, the peaks, the ups, the downs. In order for you to, when it does happen, you go, wow, qué rico. This is what it's all about. And now,
yeah, okay. Pitbull, rapper, musician, artist. He made a big name for himself, and he didn't start making a big name for himself until I would say his early to mid 30s. But that doesn't mean he got, he just came out of nowhere. This guy was grinding hard since he was a teenager and in his 20s. And, he got booked by a couple of different record labels that eventually went under. And so he just was persistent. But yeah, he got bigger in popularity in his 30s, but that didn't mean he grinded it out. And what he's about to say next is very important.
get only that, it's never about making it, guys. It's always about maintaining it. That's the toughest part.
That's true. Whenever you're trying to achieve a goal, you might get there, but how long can you maintain being there? Because the reality is you can hit a goal, but if your motivation and drive was just to get there and not do everything it takes to stay on top, just as hard as it was to go down, it's going to be hard. I mean, to go up, it's going to be hard to go down with it because you didn't have that mentality or that mindset to say, you know what, it's not just about achieving your goal, it's about maintaining it. So I totally agree with that.
You know, and a lot of people have that. They're scared. They're scared of failure.
I think people are scared. I think people lack self-esteem.
Those two speakers, they don't make the video of them, but if you don't know, that's Joe Rogan from the popular podcast, from being the voice on the MMA for the UFC. He's also a comedian. That guy has a great history of just, starting from scratch and working his butt off to get where he wants to go, and also doing the things he loved to do and making it part of his philosophy of being an entertainer, So he was not just a comedian, he was on a sitcom. When he got into MMA and he was a speaker for the UFC, at first he was just doing it because he loves mixed martial arts. He himself wasn't in mixed martial arts when he was younger, and he still trains to this day. And it was really cool that he contributed to the UFC very early on, saying, hey, I'd like to be a commentator or a broadcaster for when the fights are on TV. And he started doing that. I think I heard he was doing that voluntarily at first, and then he started getting paid. And if you listen to his podcast, you'll know his story and, all the things he's done to get to a high level of success. If you don't know much about Joe Rogan, I would look into him. He's got a good story about success and going after what you love to do, pursuing it. Not sure whether you're going to get paid for it or not, but just go after it and see what happens.
But failure is one of the most important things you could ever have, as far as like the motivation to do things differently. One of the reasons why I'm good at work is because I've been a worker in the past, and I know the feeling of failure.
Even when you lose, it's okay to lose, but you can't never get comfortable in it.
So I really had 2 failures before I succeeded with GoPro.
How do those failures drive you?
All right, so if you don't know about GoPro's those, water resistant, very action cameras that a lot of people use in extreme sports, and honestly they're using it all over the place now. Whenever you travel, a lot of people use GoPro cameras, and the founder of GoPro, something Woodman, can't remember his first name right now, but the guy became a billionaire. Although his company right now isn't doing as well as it used to be, I really am impressed with his origins, his story, because he saw a need in the market for having small cameras while you're doing certain, physical activities. He was a surfer. He wanted to record pictures of himself and videos of him when he was on a surfboard. And, unless you were a professional surfboarder, it was really hard for you to be able to record yourself, hitting those waves. And so he came up with a clever idea to strap it either around your waist or, around your body or around your hand, and to have a camera, and then closed it. He reached out to another company. They collaborated. He became the CEO of GoPro. He called it GoPro because at the time, only professionals were able to have cameras rigged around them while they did all these different tasks. Different stunts or these different waves and all that other stuff. So that's what I really liked about why they had Mr. Woodman as one of the speakers in this compilational video about, when life hits you, because he's talking about how he had some failures before he got into GoPro. It's really neat, the story about GoPro and how he raised money. He borrowed money from his parents, but he also raised money just by collecting seashells with his girlfriend, who later on became his wife, and how they sold those seashell necklaces to make some money to help start this business. And every year it would grow and grow, and now it's a ginormous company.
Today.
Well, at the time they scared me, right? And failure isn't easy. It wasn't like I thought, oh, cool, I failed. And success has taught me that one of the most important
Understanding that you can achieve those goals, it's going to be difficult. You're going to push through the difficulty,
Joe Rogan
and then you're
again.
going to understand what difficulty truly is. How much of it is just
This is his podcast, which you can now watch on YouTube, or you can just download it on any podcast streaming service you have on your phone.
I failed so many times and got back up.
This is the speech Kevin Durant when he won the MVP. So it's a nice speech. He gets emotional. His mom gets emotional. It's a nice speech to listen to. I think that's why it's in this video.
Still standing.
I got rejected a couple times, and then I just kept asking and asking and asking. I remember my dad
Leonardo
saying, "Just stick
DiCaprio
with it. Someday you'll have your day." And I
was struggling to become an
I
actor
came back,
and
I
finally
think,
became
2
one.
years later, and
I'm
finally got an agent.
Go by
Differential if somebody
Take action.
I think this guy's name is Greg
Literally, if
Plitt.
it's that simple, if all it takes to succeed is the ability to know what you want, take action,
take that
know
back.
if it's working, and keep
scared to show
This is
up.
Greg Plitt. He was first a wrestler, then became a model, being very fit. Unfortunately, passed away in a car accident, I believe. But he had some videos out where he did some motivational speaking. So
everyone
he's an
can take
inspiration
action.
to a lot of
Literally, if it's that
bodybuilders
simple,
and a
if
lot
all
of
it
people who
takes
want
to
to become
succeed is the
models.
ability to know what you want,
through
take action,
fitness.
know if it's working, and keep changing
This is
until you
that
get what you
halo
want.
we were
How
talking
come
about
everybody
before
doesn't do it?
earlier.
You
This
go
is from
after
the
it. You
movie,
give it
but
all
it's
you
what
have.
happened in real
If
life.
you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, "What if?" Because what if never went to the arena.
I love that. I would much rather fail than not even attempting to get into the arena to fail or succeed, right? So I like that. I totally relate to that. I think many people can relate to that. You got to get over your fears. You got to get over your failures and just go after it, because in the grand scheme of things, at least you made that attempt and you don't have to wonder what if. I mean, I'm creating a YouTube channel. I know nothing about creating videos. I know nothing about editing. This is not in my wheelhouse. What I do love to do is motivate people. It's part of my profession. I'm in the healthcare profession, and every day I have to motivate people. I have to be that energy for them, and I love motivational videos for that reason, because sometimes I don't have the energy myself, because when you're treating so many people day in and day out, it could get a little exhausting. But if you love what you do, it doesn't matter. You just push through it anyway. Well, unfortunately, the video cut out early. Obviously, still being a rookie, had to work on my settings, and I obviously didn't do a good enough job with that. But I'm gonna still upload it anyway the way it is, because I just want to feel the progress of making content and putting it out there for hopefully, to keep that rhythm going, because I always think that's important. Now, getting back to the main message of the video and what, I hope a lot of people take out going into the new year, 2020, it's a big one. I really hope that a lot of people, they start working on their goals and their resolutions, but just remember that the path to your destination, it's more simple than you think. It may not be as easy as you want it to be, but again, if it was easy, then it wouldn't be a goal, it wouldn't be a resolution. But your path is simple. Just don't get distracted by the different variables and the different hurdles and obstacles in your way. Just keep going forward, and that's what this message of this video was about. And on a side note, I just want to reiterate, you should go to that channel on YouTube, Chispa Motivation. A lot of great content out there and on that channel, and it's going to be something to help propel you in the right direction for the new year, in my opinion. Go check them out, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.